All right. I'm actually very excited for the next presentation. LinkedIn is my favorite social media channel. Let me tell you why. I've made great connections and business deals through LinkedIn, but the most memorable was being headhunted via LinkedIn by Canadian Tire for a job that I didn't even know that existed. And that's because of the popularity of my profile. And it was a big stepping stone for me, and what an honor to manage Canadian Tire marketing team. And now to tell us all about it and how to harness the power of LinkedIn, please help me welcome Paul.
Is that on? Everyone here? Yes? All right. Apparently I have to stand in the middle, which is not very natural for me, since that everything I'm supposed to be looking at is behind me, so I'm going to be doing a lot of turning around. The bad news, or the good news, thank you very much for coming tonight, very generous of you staying out so late. The bad news is, this is most certainly going to go 20 minutes, so you're going to have to sit. And if anyone doesn't understand me, I'm Scottish, I'm still learning English as a second language, so we'll just work our way through it. So let's start off with a group interaction. How many people here have a LinkedIn profile? Well, look at that, aren't you all smart? How many believe LinkedIn is a recruiting platform? All right, fair enough. How many believe it's a social network? Good, that sort of makes sense, right? How many believe that it's a professional networking site? Good, so fairly consistent. All right, so it's a smart audience. Would anyone care to change their mind? I hate the idiot that put that on the slide. Yes, we're all of the above. So what I'm here to do tonight is to try and give you some ideas or some sense for SMBs, what you can do on our platform and how you can build your brand. That's the entire point of this talk. So our job, or our goal, is to unite every professional in the world. We estimate there's about 600 to 650 million of them in the world. We currently have 300 million of them at the moment and growing around 250 to 300,000 of them per day. So we're working on our goal. The idea is that you build an integral identity, that when you build your professional identity, it is meaningful not only to yourself, but the people that are around you. If you lie on it, if you say you have a PhD in mathematics from MIT, the people that you work with know you don't. So they're going to see it. Your boss is going to know you don't. And better than that, MIT is going to see it. And they're going to give you a little call. Because they know who has their PhDs and who doesn't. So be accurate in the information. There's no benefit in embellishment. So we put a lot of stock in the integrity of the information that we collect on individuals and that you guys provide to us. We use it for doing algorithms to provide you good content and information that is relevant to your profile, your age, the job that you have, the title that you have, the seniority that you have, the location that you're in. We try to build the content around that and provide it to you in a meaningful and timely way. The other idea is for insights. We want a business platform in which you can interact with other professionals about the job you have today, not necessarily the job you want 5 years from now. That's fine, you can be aspirational. But the idea of things that we have on the platform, such as groups, where there's peer-to-peer conversations, are designed to provide market intelligence and market resources that you can utilize as an SMB. And the last one is to be everywhere. So on desktop, on smartphones, on tablets, be fully mobile. So I've got a great story of a few weeks back, I was walking on Bloor in Church, and there's that condo high-rise going up there. There were 3 guys in the construction gate site. One of them happened to have a tablet, the hard hats and all that sort of stuff on, and I saw on the tablet a little blue, the LinkedIn blue box. So I thought, I was going on a sales call, and I thought, I've got to ask them what they're doing. Went in there, chatted, and I said, guys, I'm with LinkedIn. Why do you have LinkedIn up? The 2 guys were construction, 1 guy was an architect. He was having a truck of 15 tons of fabricated steel arrive on site, and he had never taken that amount of steel off a truck before, so he was in an architect's group asking if anyone had done it. And could they give him advice? The only thing that scared the hell out of me is, why was he doing this on site? Surely he should have been phoning his boss. Why were you not calling the office? Maybe he was supposed to know that. So here's the tips for doing better on LinkedIn. And it's to our advantage that you do better, because the better that you do, our resource are the professionals of the world. if the platform turned into something that's more spam-like or glitterazzi or anything else, and all the C-suites and all the managers and all the professionals leave, we won't have a platform. So we try to make it as beneficial to you as possible. So, starts on, for SMBs, the idea of your personality or your persona and your organization are immediately intertwined. Essentially, you are your company's brand, and that's also true for your employees. When on their profiles, their name, your company name directly below it. So they are your representatives, whether they want it or not. And in one way, and when we talk to large organizations like accounting firms and law firms and so on and so forth, we highly advocate that you come up with an internal set of procedures and processes and guidelines and have a conversation with your employees, whether you're 1 to 10 or you're 1 to 300, about how you expect everyone in the organization to conduct themselves, whether that means that everyone helps on launch day with a new service and product, they all put a notification up on their personal profiles, whether some people get to publish information or some don't. Have it laid out. Don't play guesswork, and don't find out after the fact when Bobby put something up that you did not agree with or whatever, or promoted the competition, and now the boss is really steaming. Think of it before it happens. Because there's lots of examples of things going sideways on social media. So you've got your business, and you've got all the networks that you're building around you, your personal contacts, your family, business contacts, so on and so forth, and you're managing all of this on multiple sets of platforms, and you're trying to get a cohesive story put together. There's good news and bad news. The good news is that you're not alone. The big companies are struggling with this. It is not a solved problem. They've got lots of resources, lots of people and agencies and a whole bunch of stuff trying to tackle these problems about how to manage social media. And some of them are terrified. Some of the big law firms, the partners are terrified that when they put information out there, it puts them at libel. So if they don't know what to say, they don't say anything at all. And their media teams are like pulling their hair out going, you've got to help promote the brand, for God's sakes, do say something. But it's a struggle, so you have to think it through. So, what's the formula for success? Start with your personal brand. Your profile, get a professional shot or get a friend to take a really good image of you. Do not have your professional image of you jumping off a springboard into the swimming pool. Not great, right? When you're building out your profile, it's not just your CV anymore. It's not just, I was a manager here from 1999 to 2000, I did this job, I did that job. If you're anywhere near my age, and you're not, you can take the jobs that you did 15 years ago because they're not relevant to what you're doing today, and you can take them off your CV. You should only have the last 2 or 3 jobs that you've got on your CV that are meaningful about what you're doing today, and then make them robust. So don't say I was a manager of XYZ from 2000 to 2005. Build it out. I did projects. I worked with this team. I had a staff of 4. We did projects of $1.5 million. We integrated with 3 other organizations in this time. Make it a story. That's what the whole platform is for, right? Build that profile out. But make it honest. The next step is building your company page. Again, it's free. Doesn't get any better than that. It's free. So build it out. Now, there's a couple of things about the company page that are true. One, it's sort of like a first date. If no one's ever met you before, you go to the first date, you open the door, when she looks and she sees what you are, if she doesn't like it, there's not going to be a second date. So put some effort into it. It doesn't have to be a duplication of your website though, because it's not a go-to place. Your followers and your network and your people, they will go there on a semi-regular basis, but it's not a regular go-to stop. What it is, it's a conduit through which you can put content on your company page, and you can choose to send it out to some and or all of your followers, and or sponsor it to send it out to targeted audiences. So it's a push device, it's not a pull device. Again, you should have the basic information, contact, so on and so forth. Again, there should be an image, there should be your logo. But it doesn't have to be the most thoroughly thought through thing that you've done. And it's not set in stone, it's digital. You get to change it up. Think it through, try some text, try some posts, get some information out there. The content of colleagues. So obviously what you want to do is you want to leverage all the staff that you have and your colleagues in promoting your business, right? And as I said before, you have to decide how that interaction works. Do they have carte blanche and use their own judgment about what they can say about the organization and the company? Do you want to set down guidance for them? Do you want an administrator to oversee it? Do you have that type of resources? Because I've got over 1,800 people in my network, and if you've got an organization of, say, 15 people, and each of them has 400 in their networks, and then the second degree connections that come after that, you have a massive number of individuals that you can then reach out to send emails to connect with, and so on and so forth, for growing your business. So your staff are a tremendous resource, but you have to have a conversation with them about, it is also their profile, right? It can't get dictatorial, or it shouldn't. So you built your company page, and now you want followers. So you're tapping into your existing networks, and use the networks that you have across all the platforms to invite and or provide links on your Facebook page, on your Twitter feed, on your blogs, and anywhere else. Invite them, always put a link into your LinkedIn company page, because when you get them as followers, for their ever after, you get to send status updates to them for free. Free advertising. You get to promote your business for free. Finding groups. So I was talking way about groups. So there are 1.9 million groups on the platform, and they cover everything. My favorite, the Truck Loading Logistics Supply Chain Management Group. What a hell of a Christmas party they must have. Now, there are 56,000 people in that group. They are global. They talk about themselves. They're peer-to-peer, and I've gone into their conversations, don't understand anything they're talking about. But the people in those groups do. So I was talking to some people earlier on tonight about what you can do with groups. You can use it for market intelligence. Go and see what your competition is in a group. Go into your vertical, look through the organizations that are participating in those groups, see if you can identify people, see what they're saying. It could be your customers, it could be your vendors, it could be the competition. Hunt them down, find out what they're talking about. Half the groups are useless. They're not well moderated, the conversations don't go anywhere, they're staccato, but there's some really good ones. You have to take the time, you have to find them. And by the way, when you're participating in groups, you can be damn sure your competition is looking at you. So contributing to groups. Again, this comes down to a system of protocols. Who do you want contributing to the group? If you've got staff of 15 or 25, you've got 2 senior managers and they are really good at what they do, then have them be the voice of the company in the groups. Because you want to have a consistency of message. You want to know that they're going in there. The one thing you cannot do, whether you start up your own group or you participate in groups, because you'll either get kicked out or the group will blow up, is you cannot sell. You cannot sell. Professionals don't go into these groups to get sold. They go in there for peer-to-peer conversations. It's for professional development, it's for market intelligence. You start a group, we had a large multi-international tech company that sells computers. They started up 3 groups, all sponsored, had great moderators. They built them up to over 100,000 individuals. One of the moderators changed after 5 months and then became a marketing guy. He changed the conversation over sales. It blew up in under 72 hours. 100,000 people gone. And when they're gone, they're not coming back. Not ever. You had your one chance and you blew the trust. So, here's a quote from someone clever, espousing our benefits. So now you've got the followers, and now what are you going to do with these followers? So as I said, you can, whenever you're putting content up on your company page, you have the capacity to either, if you were like an IBM and you had over 100,000 followers, every time you put something up on the company page, you can automatically send it out as a status update to all of your followers. But that's not a great idea. Because if you're a really large organization, maybe the white paper that you're putting up on international servers only relates to 10% of your followers. So only send it to them. Don't send it to the other 90%. Because if I get a lot of stuff that's not relevant to me, I'm going to see it as spam, and I'm going to unfollow that organization. So it's got to be meaningful and timely and relevant. Further to that, you can then take that content and you can buy a bot media program through me. That's how I make a living. Whereby you find a target audience and you say, I want to take this piece of content and I want to target Managers Plus, biopharma, Western Canada, organizations above 100,000, above 5 billion in revenue and 1,000 employees. And we can target by those mechanisms. And then we could send that content out specifically just to that audience. This gentleman over here was saying that he has a product and service that he's having a difficulty getting into his target audience. We can target by every data point that is in the profiles on the system. One of the catches to the targeting, however, is that while there are 300 million people on the platform and 10 million in Canada, the more targeting you put on, the smaller your funnel becomes. So obviously, it's inverse geometric. So your audience can shrink down very, very quickly. If you say, I want to talk to engineers in oil and gas, there's lots of them, we have lots of them on the platform, they're easy to get to. If you want to say, I want to talk to the CFOs of Fortune 500, that is literally 500 individuals. It's a very small population, so very expensive to get to. So when you're thinking through your targeting, whether you're doing bot media, through the self-serve, or through me, or when you're doing your own marketing on the platform, try always to use your marketing, start off with a broad aim. And then start to see where you're getting traction with your marketing, with your materials, what content's connecting with people, what messaging is working. And then funnel it down. Maybe you get a surprise. We've seen this a lot of times. People say, I only want to talk to the C-suite. Why? Because the CFO is the one that writes a check and he or she's going to buy the business. But that CFO hasn't worked on a server for 15 years. It's the managers on the ground who work with that service, that technology, that product. They tell the CFO, that's a good system, we should buy more of that. That's a good software, we should get more of that. That's a crap software, let's not buy that again. The CFO writes the check, but he or she does not necessarily be on the ground using it on a day-to-day basis. So make sure your targeting is getting to the influence groups, the people that feed them information. The follower rule, when you're putting up content, as I said earlier on, which is true about the groups, don't go in for the hardcore sales 101 pitch. This is true when you're having a conversation with your followers and or people in your network. When possible, and I know we're not stupid, we know it's not always possible, but when possible, try and use 4-to-1 ratio. 4 pieces of information that are valuable to the audience you're talking to, and by valuable I mean they think it's valuable, not you think it's valuable. We don't care what you think. Do they think it's valuable? Because a lot of times the marketers come to me and say, you know, how do I get better conversion? I'm doing display, I'm doing in-mail, I'm doing all these products. How do I get better conversion rates? I have a 100% solution. I can solve all of your problems. I can get you 100% conversion. All you have to say is, anyone that shows up to Paul Lovie's house before 8 o'clock on Saturday morning gets a free Ferrari. I get 100% conversion. If I say you show up to my house before 8 o'clock in the morning, you get a free donut, 0% conversion. Because the value proposition sucks. So make sure the value proposition you're putting to the people that you're wanting to talk to, make sure they see it as a value proposition, that it's fair, that it's good, that there's a benefit for them. When you're putting out content, be consistent. I know it's hard, I know it takes resources, and I know it takes money, but be consistent. If you only put out content marketing and or PR for 3 months of the year, you cannot be surprised when the other months go quiet. We know it takes time. So if you need to and you have content, whether you have a large amount of it or you don't, build a schedule, build an editorial calendar. We've got 10 pieces of content, okay, how are we going to use them? We're going to use them over the next 6 months. What are we going to do? We're going to start with these 2 pieces, and we're going to sponsor them. We're going to put these 2 pieces up 5 weeks after that, and then we're going to go rotate, and we're going to do that over and over again until we build that new content. Leveraging the existing streams. So again, you want to use every device and tool at your disposal that you don't have to pay for to drive people to that company page so that when they get there, they can see what you do, they can choose to become a follower, and then you can provide them ongoing information without having to pay for it. If in the content you're building, you can provide a link, that helps enormously. And don't make the link just take them straight over to a lead generation form. That doesn't go over well. Take, again, value proposition. Take them somewhere where they get access to a white paper for 30 days. Take them to your website where they've got access to something that's special and fun and interesting. Images, as is true with your own profile, something like 72% more engagement with individuals that have a profile picture, because if you don't, there's this human instinctual thing about a lack of trust. I've got 5 minutes left. This 20's just flying by, isn't it? Again, video and imagery and animation, if you can include that in your marketing materials, in your collateral, all the better. It's a visual platform, it's a visual medium. People sometimes are a little lazy. They don't like reading. Give them infographics. You know, there's one of the guys I think it's actually in this presentation. We'll see if we can get to it. I'll skip through this. It's analyzing. Once you've gone through and you put up your posts, you put up your content, go into your company page and use the tools that are there to analyze what success you're getting. Sometimes it's the creative that you're least impressed by that gets the greatest traction. You can put more money behind that and build it out, but pay attention when you're putting it up. Posting and promoting. Okay, what's the future? As I've been saying all along, it's content. The idea of simply putting up a display ad anymore with your name, your logo, and your telephone number, and hey, we're still in business, call us, gone. Wave the dodo, right? You need to be providing content that the people you're having conversations with think is interesting and engaging, timely and apt, and means something to their business. Or why would they talk to you, right? Brand logo, and half the time people don't know what your logo is, what your brand represents, what services do you provide. And I'll give you an example, a case study of that. One of the issues that comes up regularly is that by the time the customer gets to you, he or she is 60% all the way down the decision-making process for your product or service. They've been online, they've got research, they've done their own stuff, they've talked to the competitive set, and now you're jumping in the conversation. So what you're trying to do is get to the front end of that conversation. You want to provide them valuable information and content before they get all the way down there. Because that's a very short part of the conversation left for you to have to influence their decision. As we said, and when I opened up and I said, how many people think we're an HR or placement firm? In the last 3 years, we've put a lot of money and resources into building it out as a content platform so that now we're the #1 worldwide online provider of business information, and people come on and spend 6 times more time finding market intelligence than they do looking for jobs. Influencers, we don't need to go in this program, I'm running short of time, but it's one of the things that we've invested money in to provide long format content that makes it worth coming onto the platform for finding market intelligence, finding resources you wouldn't find anywhere else. We are now allowing you to publish your own material, so in your profile, make them more robust. If you just recently written a paper, and it's gotten published or it hasn't gotten published and you think it's good and will influence your vendors, your buyers or anybody else, put it on your profile, put it on the company page. Insights. Here is an example of an organization, a small organization, that what they did was they took a boring white paper that was all technical and so on and so forth, and they turned it into a slideshare presentation, 19 slides, all infographics. In 6 months, it got 328,000 views. Not bad for a tech paper. Again, when you go, whether you come through me or you go on the platform, targeting is important. We can do a lot of customized targeting, but you have to know how to get in front of the people that you want to talk to, what they want to hear, and don't target yourself out of an audience. This is an example of the numbers that are represented on the platform within Ontario. So when you come on the platform, you can target accurately. We know the size of the audience that's available to you. So you at least have a starting point. And these are just, I'm just going to run through these quickly. These are just segments that we can do custom targeting when you get to that stage in your business plan, your marketing. This is hearsay. So one of the issues that regularly comes up is that if you're trying to do marketing out there and no one's ever heard of your company's name, you need to start with display marketing to make sure that when members sign into the platform, they start to see your logo and your name and some piece of information, so they're like, oh, that company there. This organization here, when they were building out, they started out with display ads, and then they followed it up with very targeted in-mail. In-mails that were like 1 and 2 page pieces that were very customized. And the reason that they got really good success for it was that by the time that the target audience received the in-mail product, they'd already been seeing that company's brand and logo previously in the displays. So it wasn't unknown to them. You have a much lower propensity to open up an in-mail from an organization you've never heard of than one you've just recently seen an ad from. What are the takeaways? Okay, leverage every employee you have, but not in a draconian way. It should be a healthy conversation where they're getting to leverage off of your company page and you leverage off of their profile. Publish and engage with your target audience often. The one caveat I'll say is this: if you have 10 pieces of content, 6 are really good and 4 are mediocre, throw the 4 mediocre away. Put up quality, not quantity, but be consistent. Test various messages. It's extraordinary. I've seen campaigns run with the exact same creative, and they've taken a 15-word header as the introductory note for the display, and they've changed the words around, and they have tripled the impressions that they've gotten. just by changing the way the header expressed what the value proposition was. And then the last one is break every rule you ever heard of in advertising. This is social media. There are no rules. Throw them all away. That's the good old days, and they're done. Now you get to be cheeky, you get to have fun, you get to have animation, you get to put in humor, you get to do anything that you want to do. So show them you've got an imagination. Use the platform. We're paying attention to what you're doing. We like to see the innovative ideas as well. And that is the end.